Welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be playing some Carrier Command 2 today. Just going to be playing sort of single player, but I have actually invited in the guys from Meta Abuse podcast just in case they want to bounce in as well. We had a lot of fun last time, so I thought we'd sort of I thought I'd just put out an invitation if they do want to jump in. So we may end up with a multiplayer game, but I wanted to sort of play this one with some difficulty to it, and it's a single player game. I mean, it can be played as a single player game or a multiplayer game, either way really. So when you come into the actual game itself, you can sort of see there we've got single player with a new game or load game, whichever way you want to be going. When you go into, I might just show this just so we can get, if you are interested, I get not a lot of questions, but whenever I play Carrier Command, there's always questions about whether it can be played single player, whether it's a good single player game, how to set it up, so on and so forth. If I go into custom, for example, I can then sort of set up the basic parameters for the game itself. The thing with this, though, is that you're always going to have an enemy carrier, and I really wish the devs would actually change this to make it like the multiplayer version. Delithia is saying, "Oh, Shiny, this game is difficult." It can be. Parts of it can be difficult. We're going to make it even more difficult. But you can sort of it's almost the same as the multiplayer game. One thing it does have is it's got the AI teams. You can actually put up to 4 of them in there, but you can't go to 0, whereas you can in multiplayer. And so multiplayer is better for the single player experience if you're wanting to just fight against islands. If you're wanting to fight against the carrier, then yes, you play the single player game. But I actually really like taking over islands. I find that really, really interesting because every island it's like its own puzzle, random puzzle you have to then try to solve, which is quite cool, I find. So I really prefer to play not the single player game, but the single player in multiplayer version. So we're going to be doing that. So I'm just going to go back out to here. Now I'm going to click on host to set this one up, but I'm just going to hide my screen just for 1 second while I sort of go through this one, just in case the other guys do bounce in. I just want to sort of hide the password for that one. So just bear with me. I'm just going to click on host and come straight back. So I will go to hide me. There we are. And just get past this other one. All right. And I can now just put it back to screen grab again. All right, so we've gone past, we're now hosting the game for ourselves. So if you're wanting to sort of play it as single player, just set it up this way. Where you go to custom, and the thing we now actually have that's different is we can now go and take this one down to 0, which is actually, which we don't have in the single player version. So if you're wanting to play single player where you only are processing islands, play a multiplayer, but then do it this way. And I wish that they would, again, I really hope the devs actually end up listening to this, because there's a few things that would, like that for me is something, I don't know why they haven't done it. Hi Tarank, how you going? Happy New Year. I don't know why they haven't done it. Like it seems like a bit of a no-brainer to just have like something where you are fighting against the islands, because what you can do, even in single player, is destroy the carrier and then just continue sorting out the islands. But for me, the islands is what I enjoy the most. So I really, really hope at some point they bring in this option, which is super annoying. Another thing I really wish that they would actually bring in is the loadout. So I wish that there was a way to actually customize your own loadouts and have those shown in through here, whether it be the loadout and the unlocked blueprints. Now we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to, default gives you like a base level of different equipment that you can use, different aircraft, so on and so forth. But we're going to play even more difficult with minimal loadout, which means that we don't start with any aircraft at all. We start with just 4 seals and some very minimal bullets and things like this. So we're going to start off with practically nothing. Hi Viren Games, how you going? Happy New Year to you as well. Nice to see you playing this game. Are you going to play with the others? I'm not sure if they'll pop in. I'll see if they. I've just put it on Discord. They may not be around. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to sort of show it as a single player experience. It's actually more controllable as single player than multiplayer. In multiplayer, it does allow you to then have different people doing things, but in single player, if you make a mistake, it's your mistake. Whereas if you're playing with multiplayer, you can end up with a battle mode situation where they're targeting different islands and then blasting all the guns off in the wrong directions. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. I've left very clear instructions that he is not to fire the big guns this time if he does bounce into this session. So hopefully he reads that far down. That was the second sentence. He may not have the capability to read that far in. I'm only joking, of course. I hope he does bounce in, but anyway, I've left very, very clear instructions for him not to fire the big gun this time, because we need to save every bullet we've got. Now, the blueprints, when you take an island that can build certain things, the blueprints, if you've got any unlocked blueprints, will allow you to build different ammunition, for example, or different chassis. So you start off, the default starting thing here is to sort of start off with a couple of the aircraft blueprints already. It means you still have to have the factory to build them, but you do get to build them. I'm going to play with that turned off. So I'm just going to go to none, which means that we can only build what we find. So it's going to be very, very random. But to make it a bit easier, I'm going to give myself 6 starting islands. So I'm going to start off with 6 starting islands. And this will then give me a couple of things. It will give me factories on those islands, and it will also unlock certain blueprints. We don't know what they will be. They could be useless. They could be very, very useful. So I may have to restart again. So Delithia is saying, to be fair, the flight time of the big guns makes them difficult to use. Yes, but when you're going up against one shield islands, you do not need to use the big guns, and so you need to save your ammunition. That's one thing as well. Like we need to, like in this case, we're going to be going after. There'll be a few one shield islands, which are going to be very, very easy-ish to take over, but depending with our minimal loadout and no blueprints, that's going to be a bit difficult. So let's just get started. So we get into the game, and we'll just get it launched, and then we'll sort of just go through all the bits and pieces. Here we go. Now, it may not be viable, and I might just even have a quick look before we even do anything. I'll launch it, and then we'll just quickly see if this is going to be a viable game or not. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, I do apologise if over the last couple of streams you've actually sort of been cut off. The videos are on Twitch. What I'm going to try to do, if it gets cut off again and then ends up sort of being only like a half-hour episode, but I'll be playing for hours. I do record the videos, so I'll then just upload the recording maybe a day later, which is what I've done now with the video from yesterday. So we're just going to go across here to the master light switch, the master power switch for the actual bridge. We're going to turn on the actual main breaker for all the power. We're going to sit down through here, and we're just going to deploy the character by clicking on that one. We're going to press escape, and now we'll sort of go down the slipway onto the down into the actual ocean. And so that's our starting island way back over there. There should be a barge out there somewhere, maybe behind the island, so we can't quite see it. We can make certain things back at our first island, but not much. So I'll just go and close this door. So here we are in the actual, I should have shown the mods that we're playing. We're playing a mod that gives me access to be able to manage certain things from the captain's chair. I've got a mod that will then allow me to automate the logistics as well. And so we'll sort of be needing to do that. That way I don't have to worry about trying to manually manage the barge. What else have I got? What are the mods? I've got the UI sort of enhancement mod, which will then tell you sort of what bullets you need in different areas. There's certain things that we will actually allow to have happen. So the Sea-Wiz that we sort of see through here, these are like the machine gun type things. I do want those to be armed all the time because they will automate the defences of the carrier. So just in case we make a mistake, that will actually help to protect us. I could do the anti-air as well. Now the CWIS, if we have a look at the CWIS in through here, we can see there that they're actually armed with the, they've got 100 ammunition for the CWIS amount in through there. And we can sort of see the actual, what the turret is that they're actually using into this other side. So I think they use 20mm ammunition in through that other side. But we start off with generally a full contingent of different types of you can see down through there, we've actually got, even though these are offline, the guns, the missiles, we do actually have a few of them already on board and sort of ready to go if we do need them to be in there. So we've got the main gun, missiles, CWIS back in through there, anti-aircraft in through that side. The first thing we want to be doing is when we come back in, and I'll go back to stocks in just a minute, and we'll talk about the stocks that we actually start with. But I'm just going to go across and set up. I'm just going to sit in this pilot seat here and just go to my loadout. Now my first loadout, all I've got is 4 of the surface craft. So I'm just going to go and click on these. I've only got 4 of the seals. So I'm just going to go and select the chassis. I'm just going to go and place these into each of the these slots. Select chassis. And really the reason I'm doing this is because it takes so long for their health to come up. So the you can see there they've come in, there's no ammunition, that's the last one through there. This is the fuel coming in, but the first one here is actual health. And we need to, before we can deploy them, we really want these to be at 100%. Here they come, they're starting to now come up with health. I can then go in and set up their loadouts. So I'm going to just have to go through with the minimal stuff that we have at the start. So I'm going to go and click on the hard point. I do actually have a few other little things that I can go and do through here, but all I've got through here is a smoke launcher if I do require it, but I'm not going to put that on the front of it. So I'm just going to go and press escape. I've got one at the back as well, same sort of deal with just a smoke launcher in through there. But I do have the main gun in through here, and the only one I've actually got is I've got 2 30mm turrets in through this other side. They fire 30mm magazines. You can see there, that's the CWIS turret that we saw there before. So this one does chew up the 20mm cannons, but we're just going to go and put one of those on this one here, and we'll do the same one in through here. But I'm not going to put any of these on just yet because we have to still clear the island. So we'll have to use the seals to do the clearing. Right, let's now go across to this one through here. What this one does here is this is our stock that we start with. Anything on here is on the carrier. So in this last column is in the carrier. In transit, it means it's on a barge. Pending order, it means it's queued up for a barge to come and pick it up. And then we've got the in storage in through here. So what we're just going to quickly do is just go down, and I might as well take all of the 30mm ammunition. So I'm just going to go and click on that one. I'm just going to go and add in all 4,000 of this. So I'm just going to go and click on that one across. And this is then going to give an order to the barge to pick it up. Actually, I'll just go back a couple of hundred. All right, so press escape. That thing goes into the pending column. So the pending order is now got 4,000. There's 4,000 on the island back at the home base. We've got no bombs. Actually, we've got a little bit there. We've got missiles, anti-aircraft missiles. We've got 0 in the stock. This can be still loaded. We can have stock loaded in the actual weaponry itself, which will show as 0. So I'm just going to go across into here. I'm just going to go and pick up the 20 that we've got there. I'm just going to bring everything that we've got. 10 there of the cruise missiles. Again, it seems like we've got a lot of them, but we don't want to be making use of these. We've only got 4 torpedoes, which is, we're going to be needing them. So we're going to be needing torpedoes fairly, not soon, but we are going to need them. We've got 4 turrets, which means I can sort of put them into those other seals. So I'm just going to go and add all 4 of those in. So they'll now be pending as well. And I'll do the first one manually, this first operation manually, and then we'll sort of go from there. We don't have any cameras. We've got virus modules. I've got 4 in stock, but I'll just take all of these. So just get all 20 of those. So I'm just going to bring everything with the minimal stock that we actually have. The fuel, we've got 100. I might keep that one back where that is at this stage. That might be the only one that we don't bother with. Now that we've got these pending, it's basically telling the barges that, or the barge that we've got, to make use of this. We may have multiple barges depending on what's actually happening here. You've only got one, so we've got ID 3 as the barge. So I'm going to go and click on the barge. I'm going to go and do show on map, and then I'm just going to go and click on the barge here and just do waypoints. Now I need it to pick up from the stocks in this warehouse, so I'm just going to go and do that, and then I'm going to drag this one up into like out to here somewhere, and then across to the carrier. So it's now going to automatically start loading in the equipment that we now put into the into that order. So it will then just be coming through. It's going to be the barge itself. Sorry if I just go and click back on it. That barge is bringing in the 30mm ammunition at the moment, and it will just keep on going through. And so it's loading it from an island called Twilight, which is our home base, and loading them in through there. Before we head off, I do want to just wait for those to come back on board. We go back into here, and we're now just going to have a quick look at the actual map itself. What did we start with? Now, this is interesting because we don't know what blueprints we got at the very, very start. So even though we've got like an air chassis in through here, we will pick up random blueprints from this one. So what did we get? Oh, cool. We got the Albatross chassis, which is what I wanted. So I definitely wanted one of those. The petrol I don't really use that much, and the Manta, these are sort of more high level, and I'm not skillful enough to use those. So I definitely want at least one Albatross chassis. So I'm going to go and click on one of those. So this factory is going to be building. These cost $1,000. We earn dollars basically just by waiting around. So I'm going to go and add in 2 of these. So I'm just going to go to +1, just get 2 of the Scout Wing aircraft. So I'll pop those in for the order. So they're now queued up, and so we've now got these starting to be built from the blueprint that we had. Back up through here, we then actually have the small munitions. So we do have 30 mil, so we can keep on adding more of those. We've got 40 mil, but we don't actually, the other ones we still haven't unlocked yet are these like 20 mil. So that's our Sea-Whiz ammunition is not there. So Benny's Pedigree is saying, why is the ammo decreasing? Are you using it somehow? No, it's not decreasing. I'm not sure where you're seeing that, because all it should be is the ammunition will be sort of just placed in the the ammunition will be, it's decreasing from storage into the barge. That's probably what you're seeing there, I think. So it's actually, that would be what's decreasing. But we'll end up with 8,000 of it on our carrier. So anyway, that's the. So all I've got, I don't have Sea-Whiz ammunition, so that's actually an important one for us to try to pick up at some point. So we need to go and find a place where we can actually go and get these. We've got 100 mil, which I do want to get as well, and then we've got some shells there as well. These are. And there was the operative light saying 160mm shell is small munitions. Well, this is actually something where we will ultimately be able to pick these up from different locations. There may even be like the large munitions may have like a crossover between those. I'm not sure if that's the case. This is the large munitions in through here. So what do we end up getting? We've got the AA missiles. We've got the cruise missiles, which, how much do they cost? They only cost 100. Well, in this case, that means we can, we can sort of fire the gun, because that's mainly what we sort of are using from the actual, from the main carrier. So I'm going to go and add 10 of those in, and for another 1,000. I've got 3,200 now. So let's go and add in another 10 of those. So we're going to queue those up. We do have rockets there as well. What do they cost? Only 10. I'm not sure. These are forward-firing rockets. This would be for aircraft, I would think. Missiles, the anti-air missiles, we've got a few of those already there. And we actually have light bombs, which we can then sort of drop from some of the aircraft if we wanted to. These are going to cost 10 as well, so hardly anything. But we don't actually have all of the, like, we don't have torpedoes, which I really do want to be getting. We've got, maybe I may be wrong with these cruise missiles. I'll have to see which ones we actually have. I forget which ones we actually have there. I've got fuel back over through here for when we need it, so we've got a fuel island. We do have a utility island as well. Now, this was going to give me the gimbal cameras. I'm going to be needing a few of those, so let's just go and get, say, 4 of those. We need that for the Albatross. We do have radar, smoke launchers, and deployable droid. Mule module to deploy a temporary sentry droid. Which looks like fun. I don't know how we use it. I've never done it. It's only 500. Let's go and grab one and see what it's like. So this is the build time for it to then go and build these different things up. So with our start islands, we've now sort of got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've now got those done. We can see there that there's other islands. Now, are we wanting to look at getting these sorts of things? Getting the surface chassis, we don't actually have any. There's the blueprints that we actually end up having. So we've got the seal blueprint, and we've got the and then we've got some other of the larger ones. So this island here, hopefully that's a one shield island, and that will be our first target if that's the case. We don't know if it is or not. Now, in the meantime, how's the barge going? So you can see down through here, the barge is now offloading everything across to the actual carrier itself. So it's now unloading into the actual carrier. If we go back into our stocks, we'll then sort of go up to the top here, and we'll start to sort of see that we've now got this 500 left on the barge. We've got 8,000 already of the 30mm coming back in already. Actually the shells, we've got the 160 shells there, which we're going to be needing. What else do we need in through here? The cruise missiles are also, we're getting more of these now in storage in other locations. And so I'll let them just keep on sort of bringing this stuff across. It won't take very long. And if we just go back to the barges again, it's just moving it to the carrier itself. Now the anti-aircraft missiles are being transported across. I might just show you, there's no rush because we're not up against an enemy carrier, so we really can do whatever we like. I'll take you for a guided tour of the actual carrier itself. So if I go down, I'll just go straight down to the bottom decks, which is where the equipment actually is. So if you're in games, it's saying cruise missiles are the ones the ship uses. They are very good, but later they get shot down by anti-air. Yeah, so we have to be, depending on what we're targeting, like with different aircraft and stuff, there's different things that will then sort of come in. Now this is actually the sort of like above deck, but the most interesting deck is the one below this. This is vehicle bay lights. You can see it turns off the light in through there. I'll leave them on. Waste the electricity. And then we come back down into here, and there should be a, where is it? Can't see. Hang on, there it is. Can't get there. There it is. Corridor light. That will then sort of show, should show the corridor. Hang on, where is it? It's this one here. It's a bit hard to see it. I'll just walk along it and then see if we can actually turn some other lights on. That's better. So we can now see those lights in the vehicle bay. I'll just turn them back on again as well. This is the vehicle bay in here. And so this is actually, these are the things that we've now brought on board back in these storage areas. So we can sort of see so we can see the storage, and it actually changes depending on what you actually bring in. So this is actually, I really love this. It's like the detail. It's really, really cool. Like it feels really old school, but so we've got sort of like different bombs that have been brought in. We've got the all like the things in boxes, for example, stuff like that. The barge should be just on the outside of the ship here. There's our island back over there. By the way, we can die if we go into the water. So there will be the barge. Should be over there somewhere, I'm guessing. Anyway, we won't tempt fate by going any further down. So we've got all this equipment that we're bringing back into the ship itself. This is a seal that's been now decked out and ready to go. So this is actually now ready for use. This one is not, because we didn't actually have the turrets, but we have them on board now. So 2 seals were then built, we're sort of we're taken out of storage. Let's just go back up. There's no quick way to go back up to the top. You've got to walk your way everywhere. You can press shift and you can sort of run. But we'll just go back up again. So there's a lot that goes on with this. Now we'll run down here. Just leave all these lights on. This little corner here gets a bit hard to sort of see things. I don't know if that's, yeah, that's the corridor there. Just go back in and we go up to deck 7, which is our deck. Anyway, that's the bottom of the carrier. And we'll just go and see what our targets are going to be now. Now the one shield islands are relatively easy, but so we don't want to be wasting things. Now if I go to the captain's chair and just sort of zoom out, we'll then sort of see what we're actually up against. So our islands are these ones in through here. These are 3 shield, 4 shield. Yeah, this one here is only a 1 shield, and this is a 1 shield as well, and that's a 1 shield. Then we've got a series of 2 shields, a 1 shield over there as well. Then we've got some 2 shields. As we go through the shielding, like this obsidian island is going to be almost impossible for us. I mean, it is impossible for us right now. But the 3 shield islands, Medusa, these sorts of islands really are not going to be doable for us. These are going to be protected by aircraft and by ships. The 1 shield islands are going to be protected by what am I going to say here? The 1 shield islands are going to be protected by just more seals, and they're going to be using worse equipment than what we've got. The same range as our seals, but they don't fire as well. And then we've got the evergreen down through this way, 1 shield. So all these 1 shield ones are certainly doable. 2 shields, they may have a ship, they possibly have aircraft, but by that stage we want to then make sure that we do actually have like some powerful equipment to then go in with what we actually have. Anyway, that's going to be so our first target is going to be burn. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give an order for the ship to go and get ready for the attack. So I'm just going to have a look at the actual island itself. Our best bet for trying to pick up all of the different actually we're going to be picking up an albatross on the way, so it really doesn't matter where we go. What I'm just going to do is just going to press escape for a second and have a quick look. We've got wind mode, which will then sort of show the wind on the map. We've got precipitation for any clouds that are sort of coming back through. We've got fog. We also have ocean currents. This is probably the most important one in terms of our of what we're doing. There's hardly any ocean currents there, but there will be in other places around. So you can see how strong some of these get. But we don't have much around burn. Burn is actually very, very minimal, and there's actually a wind, like there's a current sort of shadow in around the island from over here. Now, this on a 1 shield island, the small craft can really just go to the edge of the shoreline, and they can fire at around about 1 kilometre. So we just need to bring the ship into, say, around here somewhere. So I'm just going to go and press the R. And that's going to then give me a waypoint at that location, and that will be enough for us to then sort of do all of our operations from that particular location on the on there. That will then be given across the helm. You see there's like a day-night cycle here as well. We'll just zoom out so we can sort of see the big picture here a little bit as well. So we're just going to be looking at these initially. Now we're going to be needing to get. I'm going to have the 1 barge, I think, by the looks of things. There's no other barges. There's a barge. 3 barges here. The second one, Obsidian, has got a barge. This one's got a barge, but that's not really doable for us. It's going to be too difficult. Now, technically, there's still the other player, and they also have their own islands, but these aren't going to be... there's no enemy carrier, so we don't have to worry about it. Excuse me. So anyway, let's we'll make that where we're going to then move the carrier to. Now we have to manually go and do everything ourselves. Thanks for the subscription there, Viren Games. Very, very much appreciated. So let's go back in. We've now got a few more little things that we need to go and do. If, by the way, when I'm here, I can then just go and press escape. I'm still sitting in the chair. I can now look down. It's the same screen as what we saw over there. So with this mod, I can then just go and do certain aspects about controlling vehicles and things, all from the captain's chair. If I'm playing single player, I don't mind moving around the ship though to sort of go to the different areas. Let's just go back into the surface areas. So you can see there their health now is all full, which is good, so they're ready for operation. These 2 here though, so we've got S1 does actually have the 30mm cannon, S2 has got the 30mm. We now actually have more like we've brought across more of the, we've got 4 more turrets. So I'm going to go and add another turret there. It's now going to be bringing in more ammunition. It loads in 250 bullets at a time. Every bullet has to be accounted for. Do this one as well, and just go to 30 mil there. I won't worry about the smoke launchers, so we'll just keep it fairly minimal for what we're doing here. Now, this is not enough to capture an island because we need to have other things for that. But, you know, so we need to bring these virus bots. But initially we have to clear out the island. Now, we may be able to do it with other means, but we'll just sort of see how we go. Let's just press escape, walk around now and have a little look over through this other side. So we do actually have our main gun. If we have a look at this one through here, you've got 20 shots inside it. It's 120 millimeters, so we don't have access to that. So our main gun has to stay offline, so we really can't make use of that one. These are the cruise missiles that we have. So we do actually have missiles that we can then go and make use of, and we can build them. So I do have access to those. The gun would be the best thing for us. So let's just see if we can actually find a location that does give us the like that we're going to be able to get fairly easily. This one here has got, oh, that's large munitions. There's only a sound torpedo there. There's no other, actually no, there's another torpedo there, but it's not the torpedo we wanted. Small ones in through here. Only 100 mil and 20 mil, so not really, that's our Seawears ammunition. So we just have to be really careful with what we end up picking. These are still building up the large munitions. They're still sort of constructing those different bits and pieces. You can see we've got 9,000 again already. The air chassis have now finished their bits. I'm going to go and I'm going to set this one up now for automation. So the way automation works with this logistics mod is that I just go to the logistics tab over through here. Logistics plus active, yes. It will now, what it'll do is islands with requested stock, 0. Active barges, 0 of 1. And it's got logistics ticking through here. So keep this tab selected for barge ammunition. If I just keep this one here, barge automation. If I keep this one active in through this other side, I can then just operate from here to then get everything else going the way that I want it to go. Now we know that on the islands, we've now gone, if I just go back to this map here, we can have a look at some of these other areas. So back on this one, we've now got 2 Albatross chassis. I'm going to go and add in 2 more, I think. So we'll just go and order a couple more in through there. I'm going to now go and tell in my stock levels. So I'm just going to go and go back to stock and go down to those elements. Where is it? The Albatross chassis. I've got 2 of them. You can see 2 in storage there. I'm just going to go and click on that one, and I'm going to give the order to move all 4 of them over once they're all built. So this now, I'll just quickly show what this is now pending an order. And if I go back to the other screen over here, in fact, I think I can just do it. See how it's got active barge 1 of 1? That barge is now moving off to go and pick up the stock from that particular island. I can keep on going back down through all of these, and it'll then just automate all the stuff. So with anything that's actually where we do actually have things, so deployable droid, we'll just go and pick up that one as well. And we're going to be careful of of how much we have on board the carrier. We don't have to worry about it at the start, but we do need to be mindful of certain things. We've got the gimbal camera. You definitely want to have that on board. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as we're building stuff, we'll be wanting to sort of then start to bring it on board. Cruise missiles are still building, so I'm just going to keep them coming back up. The anti-air missiles are fine. The torpedo, this is all stuff we've got on board. The ammo is good there. All right, I think we can now go off and sort of start to do different things. I can always interrupt what's happening with the barge. There goes the barge there now, off to outcrop. What I might do is I might actually bring the ship down close to where we are, but we're going to need to get that gimbal as well, really, before we can sort of do too much. Actually, let's just go across and start this first attack without anything else. So I'm now going to go back to the helm. I'm just going to go into these and set these up the way that I want them. I want this to be fairly zoomed in. That's our starting island, so I'm happy enough with that one. I'm happy for that to be wind that sort of is shown. This one here, I probably want to change this one. This precipitation. I can change the map options there with E. So I'm going to go to ocean currents, just so I can sort of see the ocean currents on this one. Actually, may not. I might just do precipitation there and do ocean currents. What's this one here? Just press E. That's wind. Yeah, sure, no, I'll keep that one where that is. This is going to be. Is it going to be too much? No, it's not too much, I guess. All right, let's just get the engine started. So we start the engine up through here, and actually it's very hard to see that one. So we'll actually just go back in, press E, and just go back to cartographic, which I think I'll just leave it there, and then we'll do this one over through here. Just go to E. This is depth. But so we've got fog, sorry, let's just go to ocean current there. Just so I can glance across at it and just sort of see the big picture with what's actually going on. This way I can sort of see what's happening. Now, it's just WASD. If I press the W key, it will then start to sort of go forward. If I just zoom in, you'll sort of see this little tab, this little thing over here. I want that to be not in the red, but just a bit lower than the red. And then I can just change the angle that we're going to be then moving through here. Press escape. So it's just WASD from this station. So that's the direction we're heading, and there should be an island way out there somewhere. If I just right click, I can then sort of have a look around to see if there's anything. The waves will get much, much bigger when we get away from the island. I'm just now going to lock the steering, lock the maintain heading, and that way it'll keep on now moving across. So the aircraft carrier will now move over until we sort of get into our position and back over here. So our seals are now ready to go. It'll be handy, really handy having this next island actually. And now we just have to wait. So we just need to wait for this. There's no way for us to speed up time. I don't think there is anyway. So Viren Games saying this automated barge mod seems very useful. Otherwise, you need one person just to doing the logistics. Yeah, when you're playing like this, it's really, really handy. Having said that, I've now got 2 islands with requested stock. I can have a quick look at the barge in here, for example, and just go in and have a look. So it's going off to Outcrop, and I can just show on the map. And so I can see what it's doing. It's going to go down to there and then come back with the chassis. But I really need the gimbal camera as well, and so it's going to ultimately have to go off to this utility island as well, which is miles away. So we probably won't really be able to do much with the those first aircraft. I might get. I've got 4 gimbals. That's enough. So by the time the barge gets to this island, we should have then built the other chassis. So we should end up with 4. You can see there the ocean is now getting more wild. You know, we sort of left the island itself. And there's really nothing for us to do at this stage. So we've got the 4 deployable seals are all the surface guys, and they're all now. We can just glance at those 3 little bars on the side. We've got health, fuel, and ammunition, and they're all now ready to go. So they're ready for attacking the island. So we've got the sea whiz happening. We shouldn't have any anti-air problems at all coming back through here. These are just lights, deck spotlights and things. So you can sort of see the for when we actually do need to use it. These are torpedoes if we do want to sort of load torpedoes, but we don't actually have any. This is the cruise missile and main gun armed as well. I'm going to keep the main gun off because, again, we've got very, very limited ammunition there. So I only want to use that in emergencies. And it's going to be hard for us to, really, with the 120mm ammunition, not having that, it's going to be very, very difficult. So we're going to do everything with cruise missiles. So it would be handy just to test one of those, because we can always get more of them. Some big waves. So you can just sort of watch. It does take a while to move across the ocean. See, we've hardly moved at all. Now, when we get close to the target, we're going to then need to start to spot. Once we spot different units, we can then start to, at least we sort of know where most of the things will be coming from. Now, we're going to be anything behind the island, like when we actually do come into this, we're going to only see stuff that's really in here. There will be other stuff that we're just going to be missing. There's usually about 16 seals that protect this, I think. I'll just keep that there, that'll be fine. So the barge is now still just moving in. So we're now in the deep ocean. So there's stronger currents just below us, down near where the barge is. We are sort of coming into a strong current area. This is not really all that good for launching aircraft, so we need to be sort of in the more gentle waters for launching. And I don't think we're going to even be able to see anything with the Albatross until we bring those gimbal cameras across. So I won't worry too much about what's happening in through here. But I do want to get those gimbal cameras fairly early. So I think I'll actually even just manually take over the barge for getting the gimbal cameras. Might have a quick look and see with the stocks with this map. So we've got 4 gimbal cameras. We've got the deployable droid. I don't know what the radars are. Detects air and sea vehicles within 10 kilometres. I'll throw a couple of those in. Why not? So we might as well just get those as well. Smoke launchers. We've got a fair few of those already. These are blueprints we don't have down the bottom there. I quite like playing it this way. It's sort of like, because you don't really know what you're going to be getting. We've only got the 10 cruise missiles. Let's make another 10. The weight is 2,000. We've got heaps of weight. Let's make it, say, 30, 40. Well, that's another 30 on top of the 10 that's there. The rockets we don't really need at this stage, although we possibly will. The anti-air missiles. Just get a couple of those as well. And then the light bombs. Not sure if we're going to be able to make use of those. I really want this. Actually, we had the countermeasure torpedo and the noise torpedo will be available to us when we take over that other island. This one down in here. And we've got laser-guided missiles there as well. Hang on, where's the small? Yeah, unfortunately, getting the 120mm, there it is there, but it's going to be too difficult for us to get that island. Yeah, it's unfortunate about that. We've only got 100mm there. So it's got 160 and 120 there as well. If we have a look at those two islands, I don't think they're going to be really doable for us in the short term. This one then tells us just the threat level. Yeah, they're both. Oh, hang on, that's even more. That's only a 2. Ultimately, we could sort of swing back up and grab that before we sort of tackle anything too big. Barge is now coming back with the elements. It's fine. So we've got big seas now. It'll start to sort of, like depending on how rough it does get, the water will break across the bows and stuff. This one looks like it's going to hit. Big wave. Being tossed around. No, so we're just sort of making our way through. but we can't be launching aircraft or landing aircraft in this. It's too much. I may stop the when the barge gets close enough. I may just stop just to bring that across. That way, the barge doesn't have as far to go in the next phase. We'll just get ready for this next bit. Happy New Year, Perito. How are you going? And Von Schweinhund. Different carrier demo than the Microprose one. This is the same one. This is not a demo. This is the actual. This is Carrier Command 2, which has been around for a few years. Great game. It's fun. It's really fun playing it single player. Like, it's actually you don't have to be playing it multiplayer to enjoy it. It's a very cool game. When you do play it, though, you probably don't want to be playing it the way I'm playing it now. You want to be playing with the default stuff and then just experimenting for like, and just testing how to. And I'm really bad with, for example, the helicopters. I keep on crashing them. So so helicopters for me are not great. And we don't actually have them in. We don't have the blueprint for this in this particular run. So we are playing with like very randomized equipment. I find this 6-island start though does give me like a mix of equipment that then makes me sort of play certain ways, which I quite like. Big waves. So just rolling through the ocean. I can go out on deck and just sort of have a look to see what this is like. So this is the carrier. This is the back of the carrier. So we're going down one big wave at the moment. Another wave sort of rolling in on the side here. The barge will be out there somewhere. There's an island way back over there. We won't see the barge until it's very close. So the sea currents are quite strong here. And once we get our first bit of, of equipment that we can then sort of make use of, we don't need to keep on bringing like hundreds and hundreds of different vehicles and stuff like that on board. But getting hold of the vehicles is going to be very important. We can't afford to be losing any vehicles for this first attack. That would be diabolical. So we're better off even just using cruise missiles a little bit just to see if we can actually do some damage with those. The guns are certainly the most effective way to sort of take on the islands, but we've got such limited numbers of those that we don't want to be doing anything with those. Getting closer now. I might just stop the carrier, so I can just go into here and just tell it to stop the engines. So they're just going to be floating around. We'll just wait for the for this thing to come back in. So the waves will now roll underneath us. We'll be tossed around all over the place. But the barge will still be okay. Barge is now getting in closer. So it's just going to be coming sort of pretty much off our starboard side. Starboard rear quarter here somewhere. And we should see, it should have lights on it for when it does get closer. So I'll just go and take this off it, and then it'll go off and do its own thing again. Yeah, so Blackburn the First is saying 3 to 4 people in one round would be great fun in this game. Yeah, it is fun as a multiplayer game. But people always ask, can it be played in single player? And the answer is yes, it can. It's a bit more frantic in certain areas, but you make less mistakes when you play it single player because you're sort of always playing within your limitations. Whereas when you've got multiple players in different parts of the ship, it makes it just not more difficult, but there it is. I just saw the light. So the barge is on its way. Just wait for it to arrive. Makes you seasick, doesn't it, this game? When we go onto the top of this next rise, as the wave comes back forward, rolls underneath us, to then be able to see the barge. Yeah, Perito saying it would be great if you could turn like 10 times speed to just move the carrier. Yeah, that would be good, particularly for single player. I think the goal is to make it sort of semi-realistic in that sort of sense, though, which I don't mind. It's like for streaming, we're not doing much at the moment, but it's a great game. It's very, very enjoyable. I just wish that they would have that thing where you can actually play with no carriers right from the start in single player. There we are. There it is. So the barge is on its way. I think it's the barge. It has to be. That's the direction we were looking at. Just looks like a gantry arm, doesn't it, though? From when it was there. I'm just pressing right. The right mouse button is like your binoculars. There it is. And that looks like an island. That might be a start island. There's the barge. Yeah, that's our start island. I didn't think it had the gantries. I don't really need the deck lights on just yet. Yeah, that's the start island. And the barge is right behind that wave now. Here it comes. So it's got the albatrosses on board, but we don't actually have the gimbal cameras to really make good use of it. I don't know if we see it bringing the stuff on board. It is actually offloading now. There it goes. So it's bringing the albatrosses across. And that looks to be done. Oh no, it's still unloading again, another albatross. And another one. We've got 4 of those that it's offloading. That's all it's got on board at this stage. Is that the last one? I think that'll be it. Oh, it may be too rough for it. I think the rough seas are actually causing an issue. Let's just move forward a little bit. We'll just slow it down a little bit. I'll just go down to just a slow speed and just see if it can sort of keep up with us. And if that will then help it just to sort of stabilize a little bit of the speed. I noticed that we were sort of spinning longer. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. Okay, that's good. Now it's waiting at the carrier. So it's actually that managed to sort of sort that problem out. So the barge should then go off. Now it's got active barges 1 of 1. Islands with requested stock is 1. So that's going to go off the gimbal. So that's going to keep on just automating what it's doing. It's now traveling off to bedrock, which is fine. So we can now move our carrier back into what we need to be doing. So we'll just go back to the helm and get our speed back up again to just below that red line there. And if I just press escape, I've now got it locked in a little bit, but I'm going to deselect this and just start to spin the wheel just to bring it back into line with where we want to be going. So we've been blown off course a little bit. Just bring it back this way. And now I just lock it in again. Alright, so off we go again. Still got a long way to go. You can see there the ocean currents. We started to go all the way across and we've actually been blown off in this direction. So we'll just see how we go. So we're going against this is going to take even slower. What we might as well do is just go back in and get the aircraft now ready, because we now have the albatrosses. So we've got 4 albatross chassis. And I'm probably going to be wanting to just maybe have 2 of these, I think, because ultimately we're going to end up with other ones as well. Actually, we had other ones unlocked, didn't we? If I just go into the map. I should have made some petrels as well. These are 1,500. These are heavy lift rotor helicopters. I'll just make 1 of them. And when we build things, if I just go straight back into the stock again and just go down to where we've got them, the heavy lift, yeah, this one here, actually I might just order 2 of them and then just go back to the map. So we'll bring 2 petrels in as well. These are sort of like large helicopters, which are usually sort of more late game, but they're so we may be able to make use of those. So in the meantime, these are actually already doing pretty well, but they don't have gimbals on board. So if we have a quick look and see what they've got, these have got different loadouts, but what we need in here is the gimbal camera. Essentially, there's a gimbal 30mm gun there as well that can be used. Now we do actually have rockets. There's the autocannon, 20mm autocannon. That's the same as a Sea Whiz, which we can't really make use of. We have rocket pods there. We've got the light bombs there as well, medium and heavy bombs. Well, there we go. We could actually bomb things with this. I've never done that. And then the rocket pods. Okay, so we could actually use these offensively. That means that we go back to the munitions. We are making, in the queue, we are making cruise missiles. We do have rockets and anti-air. 20, I'm going to need more rockets than that. Let's go that way. Let's just get a heap of them. So they're in the queue. So we're going to end up with 50 rockets. So just slowly building up these cruise missiles. So this is now going off to get the gimbal camera, which we need to be able to then sort of see how things are going. It's handy not having to micromanage the barge like that. Not that I've got anything else to do. Still, actually, we're really being pushed hard away from this island. We're not making much ground here, are we? I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to push hard. I think I'm going to have to waste the fuel. I think it also does help, like it can damage the engines. Overall the fuel is okay. It's just rough. Look, we're slowly sort of getting there. I'll just go back to the helm again. I'll sort of steer more into the actual wind, or steer into the currents. Just go up into the red zone a little bit there. So we'll crank the engines up to full. We're going to be sort of churning through the fuel once we do this. Actually, I might not do that. I'll just bring it back a little bit. Only going at 12 or 13 knots. Just take it out of the red. We have not made much headway across. What I should have done is gone down this way and then come up. We now have to go through the... we've gone through, I guess, the worst part of it, which is this part through here. Now we just have to wait. Yeah, it'd be good if we could speed up time with this. With the barge, I'm going to tell it to go and pick up the stuff from this island. So there's still a heap of cruise missiles in this queue here. That'll be okay. So we want 50 of those. Cruise missiles. 30 of those. And air missiles, another 20. I think that's what we're building. It's funny, I thought we had light bombs there. Yeah, there's just more and more stuff I want to keep on building. Okay, we're starting to make a bit of headway now. Only going at 10 knots though. Against this current. Down to 8, it's very, very slow. The barge is already halfway up there. I don't know if the barge will change its order. No, it's not. What I might do is I might interrupt its order. So I'm just going to go to the barge, go to waypoints. I'm just going to go and tell it to go and pick up from there. Actually, if I'll just get rid of these. How do we get rid of it? There we go. Pick up from there, pick up from there, drop off it there. So we'll just automate this. Well, we won't automate, we'll manually do this part of it just so we pick up from those different locations. The small munitions, I don't know if we've got anything else in there just yet. We won't need them, I don't think. Okay, so Blackburn the First is saying you actually need to control everything, or do the planes, etc., automate their attacks. They, by default, automate their attacks, but there are reasons that you may want to do that yourself. When we send the SEALs in, and hopefully we'll get there soon enough, we're not really making much headway here because of these strong currents. So So we're sort of swimming. We're swimming against, or we're sort of moving against the currents here, really. If I move off, I end up over here somewhere. I could then always just come back down into this. This is very, very gentle through here. So I could actually move off this way, just because we're fighting the currents the whole way here. But yeah, it's if I do certain things by default when you first sort of launch something, it'll be automated, and then from there on you then need to manually do it. And I can't really show it until we actually move into the into this bit in through here. We've still got a fair way to go. How far off are we? We're going 12 knots now, so it's not very fast, but yeah, we've just got to, these currents are very, very strong in this portion that we're actually in at the moment. Once we break into the to the lee of this island, we're going to be okay. But yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 one, to be honest. Hi Supreme Plague, how are you going? It's an awesome, awesome game. I just wish we were in the action now. We'll just wait till we get close. There's things when we get close. We've got a series of things we need to go and do, which is to identify threats and then actually to try to take out threats before we can then claim the island. So I find the islands really good fun because they are sort of a bit like a random puzzle each time. How are we going here? It's still building. Still got cruise missiles in the queue. These are taking a long time, but it's going to be our main attack. Fuel levels are... Where's the fuel? Fuel is here. I've used a bit of it. I don't know what these fuel valves do. Yeah, fuel efficiency is high because we're not in the red. We're just off the side of the red there. So that throttle there is really the one. If we go into the red, then we become inefficient with fuel. Yeah, we're travelling at about 12 knots all the way through. Don't think we're going to... It's the sea seems to have dried down a little bit, but yeah, it looks like we're just outside that area now. But we have been pushed really far to the north. So the worst currents were sort of coming back through here. Still got a long way to go. Actually, I should show you more of the ship. If we just go back down. So you've got different decks. There's some decks that don't do anything. And then we sort of can see other areas back and through here. So this is actually now sort of like, again, I think the fourth deck. This is the carrier deck outside. We can't interact with any of this stuff, but this is the actual carrier deck itself. So we've got our like the tower. That's where we were operating from. So we can sort of, and if you've got other people on board, you can see them up in the windows and stuff. So it actually shows you what's going on. Back and through here, we have the various guns, like the Sea-Wiz type guns. Yeah, different, all sorts of different stuff now on the side of the ship. If we fall off, we die. There's some of the cannons. So I think it's the 160mm cannon. I can't remember exactly which are which. I'll just run, just press by pressing shift. Yeah, we have to be a little bit careful that the waves don't break over us. It's not as dangerous as what it was. So we've got different sort of, I think they're Sea-Wiz cannons down through there. Got spotlights in the front there. this is the just the main carrier deck. I think these are Sea Whiz as well. These might be anti-air. These are anti-air missiles, I think. And again, we have to have all of this ammunition on board to be able to do anything. So these are the our anti-air missiles. This here is the elevator. So at the moment it's down the bottom there, ready for aircraft to be brought up to the top. And these are torpedo launchers at the back here. So if we're sort of going up against ships and things, which we will, if we go to near those big islands, the ships will then start to come out and target us. So we've just got torpedo launchers back through there, and we have to then, get them ready for firing. We have to sort of let everything sort of develop. And of course we've got the actually we might just go back down the bottom there again. Have a look at the albatrosses that have been sort of fixed up. They're living quarters as well. It's sort of modelled, but you don't stay in them at all. You just basically do the missions, and so you're not really. I think are they modelled? There's all sorts of stuff on the ships themselves. Just go back down below. There's that corridor that was so dark before. There's certain things, there's other mods you can get as well that add more things into the actual ship itself. Now, we did set up the albatrosses there. This is the vehicle bay down here. So the albatrosses are on the area above, and we've got 8 slots there for vehicles. And we can get more powerful vehicles than just the little seals. Let's go back up to the next top, which is the flight deck. Not the flight deck, like the aircraft location, which has also then got the this is actually where our aircraft are then brought in and made sort of current. This is an elevator, so this is the elevator that comes across to here. This is the elevator floor. This one then gets taken up to the top of the flight deck. Back over through here, the first 2 slots, we've now got these 2 albatrosses, which are like drones that we so unmanned drones. But we don't have anything on them just yet. So these are, we've brought 2 of them in. We've got a couple it's still left in storage, but we need to get gimbal cameras to make these useful. So these aren't really of any use to us just yet. So we don't have anything. There's no bombs, there's no equipment put on those, but the gimbal camera is really the most important part of those 2 aircraft. There's below there is our vehicles again. Right, so that's ultimately where we can then just bring in. We can bring in 8 different aircraft as well. Let's get back up the top. See how far we got this time. From Plague is saying just fired up the new Xenonauts 2 game. Seems like the game is almost done and only missing the mod tools and maybe a few other things. Yeah, it's getting very, very close now. So, yeah, you noticed the alien snake men throwing nades left and right. I haven't played for a little while, actually. So we're still just making our way across. Slowly, sort of at 10 knots, just still going up against this current, this very, very strong current. These are random in the game as well, like the islands are all random when you do start. How are we going with our barge? The barge is now picking up from here. So it's loading things in. So it's picked up the 30 cruise missiles. It's got the 4 gimbal cameras, deployable droid as well. I'm assuming we could put that onto the petrol, like the petrol helicopter, and make use of that one. it's still building cruise missiles. Travelling down to the carrier, so it's picked up what it had, and it's just now leaving that island. And it's back on its way to us again. We're still not going to get there. We may be able to use the gimbal cameras, to be honest, by the time we get going. This current has just been abysmal. This is the worst part, actually, just this where this current currently is. It's sort of like once we get past this, things will speed up a bit. Just very slowly making our way across. How are we going with fuel? I might do a fuel run with the barge. So again, we can just go back into our fuel island, which is sort of going to be close to where we're going to be operating. And so 1,000 litres. Let's go and get 10, 20. I'll just get it, say 100, up to 100. That'll do. And I will tell the stock levels that we want to get another 100 fuel on board. I'll go 200. Use a lot of fuel just to fight this current. I should have looked at the current beforehand and figured out a faster way through it. I guess we really had to get across it anyway. It's interesting, like I think if we had just gone straight across and down, it may still be... no, there's current everywhere. Everywhere we want to go, the currents are right there. Anyway, we're going to be able to refuel by the time we actually do this next island. Everything else will be okay. Let's bring this back to the map screen. We're still closer to our start island than we were to where we are to this new one. This is not good. It's taking forever. Going directly against this current. And there's nothing up here that I can take on. I can't divert to do any of these. These are way too powerful for me. I really have to operate in here and then down this way. By the time we take out these, actually, evergreen, we don't know what the what that is. Yeah, there's nothing much there that we end up getting, but we'll so we could probably avoid that island. Yeah, and then we've just got these massive currents again. See, what was Vulcan? By the time we get Evergreen, Vulcan is then is another interesting one that we should be able to then take out fairly readily. No, still nothing there. Nothing of interest to us. This first one is going to then give us like walruses and stuff like that, I think, and bear like rather than just seals. And so we're going to end up with much more powerful like landing craft after this first one here. So let's go back and have a look and see where we are. Oh, we're miles away. God, this is so frustrating. This is where we started. We've been going for over an hour. We will get there. It's just going to take time. If anything, it looks like it's died off a little bit, but it's but yeah, this is not going to be good. We really are. No, like once we get to here, we're going to be okay. Like it'll then sort of speed up because the currents have died because this island is forming a shadow. That's sort of where we need to get to. And the fuel levels are dwindling. We're not even halfway there yet. This has been the worst movement one I've actually ever had in this game. Like, to be honest, this current has really made it difficult, but I've got no choice. I have to take that island. That's still our starting point, way back over there. Where we want to go is over here somewhere. There'll be an island out that way. Probably out there somewhere. In fact, what I might do is I might just have a quick look through the binoculars. Now this is actually where it's on auto in through here, which we're just using like the camera, but I can actually cycle through the different weapons to then make use of them. But I'm just going to go back into R, which is then manual, and I can then start to have a bit of a look to see if I can actually use the zoom on this main camera to sort of see if I can see the target. It's still a long way off. Be out there somewhere. No, I'm not seeing it. God, this current is just abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I'm going to get the barge back before we can actually sort of keep. I'm not going to stop this time for the barge. I'll just let the barge do its thing. Four kilometers away. Well, when we do get into, we will now have the gimbal on board once it actually gets here. Yeah, Perito is saying it is what it is. It is, unfortunately. It's just boring. If the barge is moving fast, maybe we should get on that. You're not streaming on YouTube. Am I not? I've had problems, I've got to say, over the last few days with streaming to YouTube. It cuts off and then it starts up again with other things, and it's just I'll see what's happened there. Just let me have a quick look and see. I don't know why it does this. It's crazy. There it goes. It's picked it up again now. But what stream are we in? That's the other thing too. Yeah, there's something weird here. There's something very, very weird. I'm not sure what's happening with YouTube. It's saying it's been live for a long period of time, so it should be okay. But that seems this is old stuff. That's the right timing. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Not sure at all, unfortunately. I'll just go back to the back to where we are. Still too rough to be able to really launch effectively anyway. We are moving a bit now. What speed have we got? 11 knots, so it's only 10 knots thereabouts. So still very, very slow. Once we get away from these big waves, you see the barge is already there. We are hardly moving. It's really until I get to there that that's going to be where the currents will then sort of kick back out again, which is still a long time away, unfortunately. And even if I start to spot things on this island, I'm not going to be able to do much about it for a while. Yeah, it's still 2.5 kilometres away. I don't know if there's anything in these. This is like first aid and stuff. It's cool what they've done. There's the barge. I do apologise how long this is taking. This is the worst of the transport ones that I've actually done. Like normally you're like you're at an island in about 10 minutes, not an hour and a half. It's still only not even halfway. It's just the currents have just been so strong. So this is still closing in. Not quite getting fast enough, but I think I prefer to keep the barge just travelling behind us with us trying to go against this current rather than anything else. Just going to grab myself a drink of water. I'll be right back. You might look at wind as well. The wind will also push us around. The wind is blowing off this side. It's still blowing slightly against us. But the current is really the thing that's actually taking everything. Precipitation, there's no precipitation, no real fog. Ocean currents, I'll just keep it on ocean currents. That's the one that's really affecting us. There's a legend saying, wasn't Journey who sung the Seas of Change? Yes. How are we going here? About 1 kilometre away now. It's trying to offload. I really don't want to slow down with what's going on here. So it's coming in and then it slows down as it gets close enough to us. You see there the waves pushing us around as well. We are moving just very, very slowly. Just going to get across to here. It's getting closer. This is what's been delivered so far. The timing, which is good. I think we have to go slower to allow this thing to drop stuff off. I'll slow down slightly while we just bring this stuff on board. There it goes. Yep, it's bringing the gimbal cameras across. Cruise missiles. That's good. Still trying to offload. Yeah, so still got the deployable droid and just a handful of the cruise missiles. Just got 1 or 2 more cruise missiles and then the droid, I think. Actually, yeah, Bennett's Pedigree is saying, I think it's really cool because it shows how important currents are in the game. They're not just a gimmick. It's showcasing a really cool part of the game. It makes it real. There we go. So it's now we've now just got the. We're trying to bring this thing across and just can't quite do it. Is it still doing it? It's the offloading. Oh, I can't quite do it. It's too rough. Oh, nearly. You can do it. You can do it. Gee, you nearly got it that time. So the sea is too rough. Oh, gosh, we're getting so close. It's just got to get to the end here. And no, it still didn't do it. It's just too rough for it. The sea is too rough, so it keeps on breaking the like the connection to take it across. We're getting close to where the currents now are weaker. This is actually going to make life a little bit easier for us overall. Still trying to offload this. Ah, good. It's done that. It's done that. So we now actually have that droid, deployable droid. I'm not sure how we make use of that one. God, look at the angle we're on now. So it's now going off to go and pick up other things. If we have a quick look and see what the barge is doing. You can see it's so it's moving off back up to Elwood, but we're going to need it to go across and get fuel as well. It'll just do one island at a time. That'll still be okay. By the time we get there, we've still got a fair bit of fuel, and by the time we get to the island, we'll be there for a little while. Just starting to get into this little area here, which is not super bad. We've made hardly any headway though. Let's go and speed up again. Just that one there. I just want to get this one up really close to the red. There we are, 14 knots. So we can see we're now starting to pick up speed with the because we are now, the currents are now starting to sort of fall away a little bit. And I'm just going to go and get rid of the steering locks, and we're just going to bring it around a little bit. Go back onto our course. Lock those in. We're still going to be pushed away from our course, but how fast are we going now? 29 knots. Look at that. Look at the difference. That's what we need. So we've sort of now just getting in behind the shadow of that island. Just starting to get in there. So now we'll speed up. God, it's taken forever with this with this being so difficult. Once we get past this, once we take this island, we've then, like, it's going to be difficult down in here. There's a lot of current down this way. So I'm thinking the only way to get to this island is going to have to be to sort of almost take out these level 2 islands, but we should be able to take out this island, this island, this island, which we don't really need, and then swing back around through these 2 shield islands to take out more. We're still not fully there yet, but we are. There's certainly the knots are much faster than what they were. We're travelling at almost double the speed that we were, which is good. Can we still see our island? Yep, there's our island way back over there. Now the other island should be off here somewhere. Wait till we get to the top of the wave. It's the alarm. Back to 12 knots again. Just got to break through here. It's got a little bit here that just to get rid of, and then we should be fine. But that has been really tough, really hard. It's all fine as well. Looking at there, it's just a wind. Now we've actually we can sit back in here again. Let's just go back over to these. I think we can't actually operate. We can't. This is actually the operational commands in through this other side. We could possibly get started fairly soon, I think, with these. Just going to go back to my vehicle loadouts. So with the actual loadouts that we have, like if I go and click on these, I've still got nothing I can actually put onto the actual like rocket pods or anything on these at all. So what I can actually now put in the gimbal cameras that we've got. So I'm going to go and throw one of those on board there, and same with this one through here, this gimbal camera there as well. So they will now be added to the actual Albatross itself. We're still still too far away really to be sending them off just yet, but they will. They're almost immediate. Now, if we go back down, just because we've got a bit of time, we might as well just go back down to the bottom again and have a quick look at those. Just see if we can see the gimbal camera. When we first were there was sort of like a small port at the front. But we should now be able to see the actual camera itself on the front of the Albatross. We're seeing water through there. Got a wave going through our deck at the moment. That's sea, that sky there? Yeah, that's sky, there's the sea. Going down this way. We're in rough ocean. There's the gimbal camera there now, underneath. So so that's now how we're going to then be using these. And they're going to be purely for spotting, ready for the SEALs to then do their job. I really can't launch, like I can't be launching those sort of aircraft in heavy seas like this. Did I take the wrong lift? There we are. Deck 7. Oh, actually, BuzzGeek is then saying shutting down weapons system via. Oh, of course, the power. We're actually using. We've got power controls. I've completely forgot about that. Thank you for that, BuzzGeek. You're right. I just completely forgot. Yeah, we can turn off all sorts of different things to make certain portions of the ship operate more effectively. Let's have a look and see. So we're traveling at 15 knots. This is the power sources. So if I go back in, we've got breaker for weapons. I can turn off the weapon systems. We've got for repairs we want to keep on. Propulsion we want to keep on. The radar I'll keep on, and I'll keep the others on, but if we turn off those, it's given us a little bit of extra, but not much at all, really. That's the power levels there. I can't really sort of increase those. The radar is, I don't really want to turn the radar off if I can help it. Maybe I do. If I do the breaker for the radar, is that going to help? I don't think it's helping much. I'll just put it back on again. Well, I think we're in the lee of that. I think we just happened to... Yeah, we're just getting out of the thick stuff now. But anyway, that does... Certainly by... like with the power is... I mean, not that I don't think we were actually sort of... We weren't struggling with that too much, although we're up to now 30 knots. That is dramatically higher. Yeah, I'll just keep that off until we're close. Well, that's certainly going to make... We're going to get there a bit faster now. So we're travelling at nearly 3 times the speed. Or we were there for a second when we were going down. But yeah, it's going to go up and down a little bit, I guess. Just depending on what the waves are doing. But we are now getting into the lee of this island. There goes the barge, picking up more rockets and things. Let's get into here. Yeah, that turns off our sea whiz, which doesn't really matter that much. So everything in weapons is now offline. Just press R so we can sort of do this one manually, just see if we can start to see the island. No, we're not seeing anything out here. So Dark Yellow saying, what is the use of the blueprint in the game, and is the game it worth to buy to play solo now? It always has been good. Like if you look at the start of this video, you'll see the setup that I've got. I'm playing as a multiplayer game so I can play without the enemy carrier, which means I'm just going up against islands, which means I don't have to worry about the enemy carrier at all. So that way I'm just literally trying to take out this first island. But with the way that it's essentially, you know, like oh God, look at this wave. We've still really got a lot of very, very big water around us with what's going on. But anyway, with the yeah, so the game has always been quite playable as a single player game, but I just like to play it without the enemy carrier, so I can just take on the various islands. What the blueprints do is that when we go to look at different islands, by playing with no blueprints to start, we only get the blueprints that came from this one. So these were the blueprints we got from this island were the flare, the sonic pulse, the smoke, the 40mm and the 30mm, which we did need the 30mm, but we still don't have blueprints for the 120, which we need for the main cannon on the carrier. So we would then need to try to find an island that does munitions like this. This one doesn't do it. That only does the blueprints there are 100mm. Find other small munitions. That one there is 120, so that's one that we would be wanting to get, but this one's too difficult for us to take. It's also got 120. So by playing with the way we're playing, we end up with random things, but this first island that we're going to be getting unlocks a lot of really, really powerful... we can't even build seals at this stage, which by default in the game you can, but by playing with no blueprints, we have to, by taking this first island, we end up with getting bears, walruses, I think it's walruses, that's the L, I think, and then the seals is there as well. So I think if we click on that, yeah, we know we can't see anything until we actually take this island. But that will then allow us to then start to build those crafts. So we can only build what blueprints we have. So even with the starting islands that we did actually have, this one over through here, we ended up with the Albatross and the Petrel. So the Petrel is actually like a helicopter, and the Albatross is the drone that we're going to be using. So I'll end up sort of using those. They're the only two blueprints we have there. So to go and get the bombers and stuff like that, we're going to need to find another aircraft location somewhere, like this one here. That one's got the Mantra, I think. Yeah, that's another one as well. Once I've got them unlocked at one location, that's the Razorbill. So that's the small helicopter. So there's a few different ones that we'll ultimately be wanting to try to go and get. Just go and see how we're going now. So we're now closer to the island, the target island. We will go faster now that we're getting out of this current. Yeah, we're travelling now at a good rate, which is good. So we're not seeing the island yet. It's still a long way off. So we have the barge coming back in again. So it's now bringing back the rockets and things. So we could actually put rocket pods on the Albatrosses. Which you might as well do, I guess. To see if we can take out some of the enemy before we sort of do anything else. So we're still making fuel at this island. I don't think there's any other utilities that we need to be making here. So we've got a couple of radar back there. We've got the two petrols down that way. This one will just automatically then go off and pick up the fuel, I guess, after it's sort of dropped this off. Alright, we're getting close now to where we need to be. So the currents are going to drop off a lot, which will allow us to move a lot faster. You're travelling at 26 knots. This is better. Just take the helm again and just turn off the steering locks, and we'll just start to recorrect. Now that we're sort of moving into that shadow of the island. Bring that around to point in the direction that we've got for ourselves. We'll just lock them in there from the helm position. And once we get into here somewhere, we'll then launch the aircraft. By that stage, we may have rockets on board. The rockets aren't critical, but they will help just to eradicate some of the protection on the island. If I can learn how to use them. See, it's still too rough, really, to be launching aircraft. Still can't see that island. Maybe off there somewhere. There may be it. Let's have a quick look and see. Let's press R and... out there somewhere. Wait till we're on top of a wave. Not seeing it there yet. Should be just off to the side here. Somewhere in there. Anyway. I love the ambience in this game as well. Like, it's very, very cool. Still got a bit of current there, you know, like we're still pushing against it. This barge is back again. Whole time all we've been doing is just getting barges back and forth. Yep, so different stuff is now come. We've brought in a heap more ammo. Oh, that was earlier on. Deployable droid now. Yeah, more cruise missiles were loaded on. The gimbal cameras. Actually, one thing I don't know if I've got the petrol. Yeah, I've got that one ordered. It'll go off and pick that one up at some point. So we'll look at the fuel source now. We're sort of getting low on fuel. So we will need to go off and grab the fuel after the barge gets here. I need to make even more fuel. Let's just go back to our map. Let's get another couple of hundred there. We're travelling quickly now, so we're doing fairly well there. Certainly getting low on the fuel now though. I think I'll force this, I'll just manually control the barge now to go and pick up the fuel from here and bring it back. We are getting closer. Still, what's that, about 24 kilometres away from the actual island itself, from the target. Once we get into here, we should be fine. We're just still in very, very heavy locations here, unfortunately. With those currents. We may start to see it. There it is. There's the island. Just press R. There it is. So our target is very, very low. It's like a desert island. There's no trees on it, and so that's our target there. Now we're not seeing much there just yet, so we have to get a lot closer to be able to start to pick up things. So it's actually, how far away is that? It's telling us, yeah, beyond range. Beyond what we can see. So that's what we need to kill off, essentially. Yeah, now just moving towards that one fairly well. Being pushed off again with the currents, just pushing us away from the direction we want to travel. Just lock it in there again. Again, once we get into here, we'll be nice and fast. Watch the barge bring back in those rockets. Still 3 kilometres away. Just keep that screen open, that way we can see what's happening with it. This is the money. We've got no problem with money because we haven't done anything, so we're not really wasting stuff at this point in time. Fuel is now in the red, which is not good. That barge is getting a bit closer. 1.63 ocean current where we currently are. I should have had a look at when it was actually at its worst. Down to 16 knots again. Still 3 kilometres away with the barge. I'm going to have to quickly do a fuel run because I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to the island before we run out of fuel. You know, I think it's so desperate, I'm going to override the barge. And just tell it to go and grab fuel first. So if I go and click on it, click on waypoints, I can now sort of just manually go and change it. So by doing that, I then move it away. It's now going to pick up the fuel and then come back. So we'll just do that manually, just telling the barge to quickly go off and grab as much fuel as it can and bring it back to the carrier, because that's now fairly critical. I've never had the carrier run out of fuel before you even get anywhere. This has been such a hard travel to this location. It has been just absolutely crazy. And we've still got currents. Yeah, look at the ocean current now. It's actually higher than what it was before. We're just going directly against it. 80 knots. God, it's been so difficult. Yep, Terramut saying you're actually increasing the distance between the carrier and the barge. Yes, no, that's now on purpose. It's now moving off. Just keep the barge there. So it's moving off to back us now to pick up fuel. Because that is the critical thing that we now need. Would have liked to have the rockets on board, but they're not critical. They're not essential. It would have been fun, but anyway. And fuel is very, very low. Still travelling at a reasonable rate now, which is good. There's the island there with the lights, I think. Is there lights out there? I thought I saw some lights. We're still a distance away. We're about 16 kilometres away now. So we need to get about here before we can start to really sort of start to do active things with the island. Just double check that all of these are ready to go. Yep, we've got the 30 mil, 30 mil, 30 mil, 30 mil. I don't need cameras or anything on board those. These guys only have the gimbal camera. I'll get them again once we get to about 10 kilometres away. I'll start to launch those, or launch one of them. There's the island. around again, just point to where we want to go. And we've been, with our actual efficiency has been very, very good. There we go, 38 knots. We've now just hit that, the shadow of the island. And now we're going to accelerate very, very quickly, I think. So I think we're now sort of just on the inside there. You can see there the change of we've had to go through all of this, which is unusual in this game to have that much current that you've got to fight against. Good old barge, though, will go up to here and pick up the fuel and then bring it back. We just need to get close enough for us to sort of start to operate, and if we can sort of get into around here somewhere, that would be okay. I'd love to get into where we wanted, but I don't know if we're going to have the fuel to do that. Still got 2 slots. That fuel gauge is sort of showing, it's getting lower and lower. So everything's good at this stage. Can't close that door for some reason. Now we're starting to see more detail on the actual island itself. Often the lights will be vehicles. There's another vehicle just showing up through there. Now we can paint the vehicles in different ways, but we're still too far away. So we're not going to be able to do it effectively until we get closer. But it's now quite gentle. The actual ocean itself is not too bad at all. So we could launch if we wanted to, the aircraft. I think I might do that. We're still... I would prefer to be sort of close to where we want to be before we go and do it. But we're now sort of getting into like a nice area. So rather than launch the vehicle right now, what I'll do is I will actually just wait until we're now going up to 47 knots. So it's certainly changed. So we can see what we can see. I think we're going to be okay with fuel as well. Just press R, and where was it? There it is. Now, depending on how far away this is, if it's below 10 kilometers, we do have stabilization on. Yeah, we're just slightly too far away to effectively pick up the vehicles, but there are vehicles now running around on that island. So it's getting closer. Getting more into the operational now level of what we need to be doing. We're getting almost close enough to to do what we have to do here. I just don't want to have the carrier running with me in an aircraft until I'm ready for doing that. I might actually move away a little bit more. I might just press the R key. Actually, if I just get rid of the waypoints, if I move that one there. So I'm just going to have this is where we stop off, which will be a few kilometres away from the actual island itself. We'll then move in closer to do the drop off for the actual island. From what we can sort of see. So what we have is we've got shallows, we've got the main island itself. That's the target that we then need to go into on the actual island itself. We've got some buildings back in there. They won't do anything in this particular island. It's only a one. Sometimes on islands there'll be aircraft hangars and stuff like this as well on the two shield islands. But in this case, we're only going to see seals that are firing weapons that are weaker than our weapons. Just keep it coming back in, because it won't automatically go to where I told it to go. It's just going to I've got to rely on this guy here to do it. Now we've still got 2 fuel levels there, which is actually okay. So let's just bring this one in. Traveling at 46 knots now, nice and fast. God, that was horrific. Traveling at 8 knots. through that portion. You can see there the difference in the currents that we actually had to deal with. Let's go and manually bring this one in now. So I'm just going to let it come into the position. So I'm just using the WASD keys. I'm not changing the W or S keys, just the A and D. Just to being pushed offline here a little bit, but we are getting very close now to where we want it to be. Just want to be far enough away that the enemy can't really do anything with us. Now the seals on this island fire, they've got a range of 1,000, so 1 kilometre. So when we do anything, we want to be outside that range for everything until we actually engage with them. Okay, we're getting nice and close now, which is good. And while we're waiting here, sort of getting everything ready for the assault, the fuel should then come back onto the craft. We may need to keep on getting more fuel. What we're going to be doing here. It's actually now pushing the ship. I've been using the D key the whole time, but now I've got to press the A key. So we've it's only got a change in what's going on with everything. So this is the helm position where this is the only position where you can actually really direct the ship. So I'm in control of what we then do with the engines, etc. So I'm going to go beyond that little X that we've made. So we've made the X from the commander's chair, and so the helmsman now just has to sort of get to that position. I could be like if we were playing with multiple people, we'd have one person in this role, just getting us to the right position, while others would then be spotting. There'd be someone flying the aircraft by now, for example. Let's move in. We've finally made it here. After all that time. What was that? 2 hours. Wow, that was horrific. Now moving past that location, I'm just going to sort of position myself off the island a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit beyond where we were. I'm just going to change the angle as well of the aircraft carrier once we sort of get closer. I'll go through a few of the other bits and pieces on the aircraft carrier in just a second. So we're now sort of pretty much over that X that we had, which is probably okay for us to get started. We want to be about 2 kilometres away for us launching our away team. So go a little bit closer. I'm just going to bring the front of the aircraft carrier around, just so it's not facing directly at the island, just so that when I launch my aircraft they won't be flying over the island, they'll be flying away from it a little bit. Let's just bring our speed down now. Let's just leave it there for now. So we'll just go and press S all the way down. Just going to press escape, and we're just going to turn off the engines. So we'll stop the engines. So the island is now very, very close. Just move out of the helm. The helm position is now sort of done its job. I'm going to repower the weapons. So the weapons are now coming up. We don't have any power going into the propulsion. I now need to spot all of the targets on this island. You can see look how gentle it is out here now. It's super, super gentle. So I can do that a few different ways. I can go back into the viewing scope in here now and press R just to go manual, and then look for craft on the actual island itself, like this one here. And as long as I paint the reticule, I can then sort of start to identify it. And it should just be come up with SEL, that's a seal, and then I should have 15mm weaponry that it's going to be using. So I'll just keep it going, and it will then show me in just a second. I'm still 4 kilometers away. Actually, I'm even more than that. This one's 6 kilometers away. And see how it's got the gun there of 15mm. Now, they often travel in little groups. We need to ultimately spot all of these. So we need to keep an eye on all of these different things. There's another one. So I just need to keep on spotting. So I can do it with the main carrier when we're close enough like this. But I can also then go and I know that they're all. See how it's ID 19? Oops, I lost it. It went behind an area. You will remember that it was a seal. And we lost that one as well. There's some very, very close, only two and a bit kilometres away. Seal. So I'll just paint all of these as much as I possibly can. The gun, there was another one in the front there somewhere. There it is. It's in the water. They will sort of travel around a little bit and then stop. Like there's one stopped in the trees over there as well. Okay, let's got the gun. It's moving around a little bit with the waves. But I ultimately need to paint all of these. Now this is one way to do it. The other way is to use the albatross. So I'll get the albatross in the air. You saw that we don't get to see anything behind the levels. Actually, what's that one? Yeah, that's got the 15mm gun. But you see there's one over there. There's a whole heap of them over here, for example. So these all need to be targeted. So what I'll do is I'll now go and launch the albatross. We don't actually have, just see where the barge actually is. It's still heading off towards Bacchus. So it's loading the fuel at Bacchus, which means we're not going to get the rockets. So I'm going to go now into, like these are the various vehicle controls down through this other side. If you're playing single player, you probably just want to play from the middle where you've got the air and the surface. But look, you're going to be up and down anyway. So I'm going to go across and if I just escape, click on escape there, I'm still sitting in this chair. And so we've got, I don't know what that is there actually. Anyway, we're just going to go and deploy A1. So I'm just going to go and do that one. What will then happen is, this is actually now the CCTV, is showing the surface hangar. And then it'll go to the so this is Albatross ID number 9. We're sort of seeing the different things down this way. This is the hangar again. This is now the Albatross ID 9 is now being moved out to that elevator. If we just press escape, I'll just sort of show what's happening here. Let's go to the door. So the elevator will come up with the Albatross on board. Here it comes. You can see the lights flashing. Just close that off because we can sort of see it from this station here. I've forgotten exactly how to do it, but this is going to then launch. So it will then be moved back, ready to launch. So it'll go onto the main flight deck. It will then rotate, and it will then go off the front of the flight deck. Let's just go across into here, and we're just going to go across to where we can start to see things. And so what we'll see is we'll see the Albatross leave this one fairly soon. It will then fly off, and then all we do is we just drag where we want it to go. And so I'm going to create, there it goes. I'm now just going to drag it off to here, and that's 400 meters. If I go and click on that one, I want this one to go up to 1,000 or 1,100, which is just beyond the range of those vehicles. So it's going to go up to 1,100. I'm then going to fly it around the island. And you can see they're the ones that we've already painted. But I'm just going to go and create like a loop around this island like this. So that's now at, it should be at 1,000, yeah, 1,100. So it's going to be fairly high up, which keeps it away from the seals. If we were up against aircraft and stuff like that, we'd have to do this one a bit differently, but this is now a loop. And so I can now go back to the Albatross itself, and I can go back to camera, and I can now connect to the Albatross. So I'm now actually in the Albatross itself, and I've then got either flight controls as the first one. I can't really show in this one here. I was going to point to it with my finger, but the first one is the actual flight control. But at the moment, you'll see that it's actually on automatic. It's just automatically following those waypoints, so I don't have to change that. But if I press the, if I go to number 2, it will then highlight the gimbal camera. The gimbal camera is still on auto. It's not going to do anything. So I need to make this one go to manual. So if I go to R, and now I've got manual gimbal, I can now look down on the island and start to look for vehicles. And I can start to paint them with the Albatross. This is the most effective way of doing this. There's a seal. I don't really need to know that it's only got 15mm. So we can sort of keep it going with this just so we can identify it. Sort of do this one. Keep on painting it. too hard. I'll just keep on looking. At night time you see them very, very clearly. Like there's more there. God, it's hard. This stabilization is on, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, there it is. Stabilization is now on. So that's the wing of the aircraft, of course. So with stabilization, it will then sort of allow me to spot fairly effectively. Now, certain things we have to keep aware of. We do actually have we have fuel on this thing that we need to be wary of. So when we start to run out of fuel, we have to bring it back, and we have to make sure that it's got a way. If there's another one, just paint it. But when I've painted it, will then show up on the map while we've got eyes on the island. We'll then just keep on sort of doing things. Now, I know that they're 15mm. I don't need to do this on this one here, but quite often you will need to do a bit more. Some of them can be actually out in the water. It's so much easier to find them when it's night time. Looks like it's raining now outside, which is also going to make our visibility go down a little bit. Not seeing anything else in through there. Just go back again. So that's our main island. So there's some lights. So it's now becoming dusk. So we can start to now look for the island. That's now a seal that's been identified. There's another seal there. And so on and so forth. So I can take over the piloting of the craft if I wanted to. So now I should be able to start to now see them a lot more easily, because it's now the light is now fading, and we'll start to see the headlights that they've actually got. We want to paint all of them if we can. So it's just as important to actually identify them as it is to kill them off. So once I've painted what they are, they then stay, so we can see them. Just identify what's what. Let's do painting of the other one actually. Oh no, there we go. Another seal. There's a third one there, which we hadn't seen. It came out of the water. So these are all the things we have to then get rid of. You'll see there that we've got the carrier missile is saying it's ready. It's actually not ready on the aircraft yet, but I can use that missile to blow up things. Now there was something else I thought down that way. There's another one there. Is there? No, that's just the lights. So when we get a cluster of them, I might get ready now to bring in a missile. Maybe against those four. There's a fifth one there. So I'll just paint that one as well. Still got heaps of fuel, which is always a consideration. Just keeping looking on the right hand side there for the fuel. And we're high enough up that we don't have to worry about anything. Alright, let's go in now, and our carrier will be somewhere down here as well. Let's just press escape. So we're now just doing this constant loop around the island, just painting all of these different targets. If we just press escape again, I'm just going to now go back to across, and I'm going to activate our missiles. So we've got the, now they're offline. You'll see down the bottom they're offline. And if we go back into the cruise missile, I'm going to arm the cruise missile, which means that they're now armed. We know that we can always build more cruise missiles because we do actually have that blueprint unlocked. There is a storm going on. Let's go back to our Albatross and just go back into camera. And again, we've got the gimbal selected. You can see there the white thing at the top. So all I need to do is just go back into R and just go back to manual. And what I'm looking for here is the clusters of 4. But when they stop somewhere. So we've got a cluster of 4 there. We've got a cluster of 3 there. I'm looking for them to stop movement. And they'll sort of bunch up when that actually happens. So I need to get rid of as many of these as I can before we sort of get started. They sort of have stopped. Let's go and fire at this one. So the carrier missile is ready. So I can actually, if I just left click, I think that will then go and Z will then cycle through the weapons. So I've got the carrier gun, carrier flares, guided missile. I'm just going to go back to guided missile. I'm just going to go and fire at that. Requesting support. Now the aircraft carrier will now fire the missiles at that. Engaged. It's saying unavailable. I think it's waiting but unavailable. I'll just see what actually happens. That should be enough for us to be able to. That's probably us over there, I think. Might be a barge. No, it says it's unavailable. I'll just go and find out why that's the case. That should be okay. Just make sure that we've got everything else on. We've got the power for the weapons on. Don't know what's going on there. Our carrier missile and guided missile are different though. Oh, are they? But that's still armed. It's got 42. What missile is that one? Actually, is that different again? Got anti-air. I'll see if it's a different missile. It's been a while since I've done this one. Support cancelled, yeah, so it didn't actually do anything there. Let's just go back in. So actually it's guided missile, yeah, you are right, I think. If I just go and press Z to cycle through. Carrier missile, there it is. So we just pressed R again just to make it manual, and then we'll just wait for these guys to stop moving. So again, when they start to bunch up, it means that they've sort of stopped. So I don't want to fire until they're actually in a group together. In the meantime, let's just see if we can find any more lights that we haven't spotted yet. Sort of in the water, I think. Won't fire at those just yet. I'll fire at this group here. So active, the weapon will then come in from the side here somewhere. Missile coming in 2 kilometers away. Here it comes. So it's bouncing in on these guys. Boom. So we took out 4 there. So that's now sort of taken out those, which makes it a bit easier. So having these missiles here is good. So we've still got more carrier missiles. We've got this group in through here, which seem to have they're still moving off. But we can't do much about those just yet until they slow right down. This is sort of in the shallows. I'll watch these 3, and then we'll send the others. We'll just move the others out. Here comes another group coming in. Now I can actually hit those right in the middle here. Let's just try that. Requesting support. These aren't guided. I think with the guided missiles you can actually direct them in, but this one here we're just going to be hitting this region in here where I had it pointed. Just hoping that we end up getting what we need. Still 2 kilometers away. Comes. Bang, we got rid of another 4 or 5 there. So that worked out well, which means we've just got like sort of a hodgepodge of different things. Let's send the this craft back home. So what we're just going to do is just going to go and tell it to move back home, move back to the aircraft. So we will now, we've got to be careful that we don't launch other things at the same time, and particularly if it's low on fuel. But this thing is fine. Its fuel, you can see down, it's about 50%. So it's now done a great job of actually clearing out a lot of the island, just using some of those missiles. But if you don't have access to those missiles, then you then have to do it other ways. We don't have our main gun, for example. So the missiles we have here, you were right, they weren't the cruise missiles. These were just the carrier missiles. But that was very effective. And you sort of want to paint the target, I think, all the way in, really, with those sorts of things. So anyway, that's now been done, which is great. We can now turn off those missiles. We're sort of done with those. So we can just sort of keep them offline, just so we don't accidentally do it. This is interesting as well to have a bit of a look at, to see what's been going on. So we now, if you're the commander, you'll see everything going on this particular map, including anything that has been painted. We're close enough that we can now see everything that's actually going on. It's a very flat island, so I'm going to send my SEAL team into here, I think. So I'm going to see, actually, where's our barges? Are they done? Travelling to the carrier. We still have practically no fuel left. I do want to get closer to the island, so I'm just going to go and move in a bit tighter to where we actually are. So we'll just get the helm. We'll just start to sort of just increase our speed a little bit, and I'll look at the screen over here. So I just want to move this one across a little bit. This is trying to land while we're doing this. Here comes the barge with the fuel and with the rockets. But that was 2 missiles. We took out, probably about half the defenders, which was good, of this little island. And so we'll now do the rest of this with the SEAL team. What's going on here? Oh, I've got the engine off, that's why. Engine start, there we are. That would help. It's only why I wasn't able to actually do anything. So I want to get in fairly close. I'm just going to press escape. At the moment, just while this is happening, here comes the albatross coming into land. So I want to make sure that we're not going too fast. Yeah, we're just going fairly slow there. 5 knots is fine. So we're sort of moving in slowly. I'm going to paint a place on here that I want to be. Now, that's 2 kilometers away. I want to be about 1 kilometer off. So about here somewhere. So I'm just going to go and press the R key there. That will then just paint an area for us to then aim for. When we come back over here, there's the albatross. It's now landed. It's now going to be moved back underneath. It will then get its fuel. If we go back over to here, the albatross will then be refueled up. So its fuel will then sort of come back up. The SEALs, actually, what we'll do is we'll just go back to the SEALs. Now that we don't have as many, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to replace it with a virus bot, which is going to be how we then capture the island. So I don't think I need to worry about having all of them with firepower. So just go S4 will then be the one that then does the capturing. All right, let's keep it going. So we'll just keep on moving across to this new location. Increase the speed a little bit here now. And then by the time we do this, we should then be refueled up. I can fire those missiles from the carrier itself as well. The island can shoot at the carrier, not this island. Some of the other islands can, but not this one. This one is only a 1 shield island, as you'll sort of see. There's only 1 shield on it, which means it has very minimal. It's only got the SEALs. That's all it actually has. So it's very, like the 1 shield islands are, like all you've got to do is get rid of these fairly weak defenders, but we only have SEALs ourselves. But once we get this island, we're then going to be able to build bears and walruses, which are more powerful vehicles anyway. So we'll be able to then take on these other islands a bit more effectively. But the fact that we've actually got the carrier missiles as well that we can bring in is useful. I think they are the carrier missiles. So we're just going to bring in, so we can bring the SEALs in, and we need to get into the middle of the island. Now we've painted the targets. As long as we can, as long as when the aircraft carrier can now see them, that's when we'll sort of operate. Now I can go and put a another albatross up just to circle around so we can spot everything that's going on, but I don't think I'll worry about it. It's now moving in. I'll just bring it in a little bit. It's a pretty cool game, like very, very cool the way it does work. That's close enough. Let's just shut off the engines, turn that off, and we'll just engine stop. So we've got, oops, just leave that one right down. Escape, and so we've now got the fuel is diabolically bad, but we have got here, and it's now travelling. It's only 4 kilometres away. The actual is that the barge? That could be another island. If we have a look at the map and just sort of see what's going on, yeah, this is actually, so we've got Burn there. That's Obsidian, and so look at this. See how there's these ships? This is what we have to be careful of. This is a 4-shield island, and they've got ships that aren't that far away from where we are. They're patrolling this island here, and so these become much, much more difficult to take out. So that is almost impossible for us. So just got to hope that they don't actually identify that we're here. So we'll just sort of stay where we are and keep on operating. So we're now going to send our SEAL team in. It is raining. And we can sort of see that there are still vehicles on the, if we go back into here, we can then sort of spot, just press R. I can then sort of see the see the various vehicles running around. They're only sort of individual, like there's only 1 or 2, but I need to get to here to claim the island. And so I think I'll just go straight for claiming it right from the start here. So let's go and send our team in. So when we have a look at our, well, first of all, we'll just make sure that our loadout has been affected. So S4 just needed to have the virus bots, which it does have. Everything else is now ready to go. They've only got 15mm bullets. We've got 30mm, so we're more powerful. And we're just now going to go back in now and launch all of our craft again. So I'm just going to go and sit at this console, and I'm just going to go and launch 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that order. They will then launch from the, like if we go back up and have a look at this, we'll then sort of see this is the air hangar where the albatrosses are. These guys are now going to start to move out. This is SEAL ID 6 is moving down to leave the actual craft itself. Now we've got auto, we've got air, we've got surface. Yeah, I just want an auto, I think. But these the SEALs are now leaving. Let's just go back into vehicle control, and actually I'm in the wrong spot here, but it doesn't matter. So they've all now left the actual vehicle itself. What I want to do is I want to drag these onto the one in front of it. And this is our virus bot. So it's just going to follow these. So they're going to follow each other all the way through. I think I've got that first one to do that. Yep, so I've told them to have waypoints where they move in. Now, I'm going to control the first one. I'm just going to move back out a little bit. We're going to move over to this part of the island where there's nothing much happening. Now you can see that there's some areas in here which are a little bit difficult to contend with. But let's just move there to start with, and then we'll just move up a little bit into here. So the SEALs now start to sort of move across, and again, I've just given them these very simple waypoints. They're all following each other. Just want to make sure that one is following that one. I don't want it following our lead one just yet. So I want them all to be, well, they sort of will anyway, but as long as they're doing that, that's going to be fine. So so they're just each following each other. Can go to the front one, go to the camera on this one. Now again, we're either driving it or we're firing at it. The firing will be automatic, but I can actually just do the firing if I'm wanting to. So I'll turn on, I'll just go and press the 2 to go and select the turret. And I can then sort of see the various, because we've painted the targets, we can see how far away they are. Now, it's still in auto, but I'm just looking at from there. If I press R, I now have manual, and I can then sort of I can press Z to start to zoom in. And they're on the other side of the island, but we're still somehow seeing it. They will disappear if we lose sight of it. But there should be a target coming from over here somewhere. If I press Z, we go all the way back out. I think 1 or 2 in is probably the best zoom level. Now we're in the ocean, which makes it very difficult to fire. We've got 250 bullets. That's on the other side of the island. Other side of the island. This one here is, we'll start to see these. These we've got, you only fire when they're within a kilometre away. And I can look around and we'll see the other vehicles should be following us. There they are. There's the carrier. And there's the line of SEALs. This is our main threat. Back in through here. I can also press tab to have a look at an actual map of where we are. There we go, 800 away. I'll just start firing at it. You do have to sort of draw them in a little bit. I can't see them. We want to get out of the water where we're more stable. And then we want to destroy these as they come in. So these are all now going to start coming towards us. So we're still in the water. Some of the other guys have spotted it. I can now fire at it. Missing it. Need to come over that ridge line. It's these two here. That one's taken some of its damage. We also have fuel that we have to contend with, but we don't have much to worry about with that. Now we're going to stop up just up in here anyway and just wait for them. Stopping very, very soon. We should be. I want to contend with these before we sort of go and claim anything. Again, I can go back to the carrier and start to sort of play with those as well. So there's one there that's 850 odd meters away. This one's getting closer. It should come over the top here somewhere. We've lost sight of it. So the aircraft, if we have eyes in the sky, we'd then be able to see these, but we can only see them from the carrier. So the carrier is doing the spotting for us, which should be okay where we are. And so the other two that have got the guns will fire automatically as well. We've still got 219 shots left. It's 300 away, so it's going to come around the corner here. Just get ready for it. Because we're going to be getting SEALs from here, I'm not too concerned about us taking damage. This guy here hasn't moved. I'm going to move up to the target. I can't see the others just yet. So I'm going to press, I can either just drive. If I go back to number 1, I can then just go R and then just tell it to start to move up. And then the others should move with it. So the weapon will just fire now automatically. So go to to what we have to then go and do. I'm just going to press escape, and I'm just going to go and pick on this one here. I'm going to go to the camera. So we're now at the back one, and I'm just going to go and press. I'm now going to attack this one here. So I'm just going to go to number 2 with the virus bots, and we're just going to go and fire. Actually, Can I do that one yet? Just press R, manual. And I've now emptied the virus bots. They will now make their way to the target. The other guys are just firing. We should see. There's the virus bots there. So they're moving up. These guys here have got like this, so they're firing at different things. We're down to 21% ammo there. This one's taking damage, so let's just go back to the camera here. So these guys are moving in. I don't know if that was us or them. I'm assuming it was them, that it came in really close. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, all of ours are still operational. Oh, they've taken out the virus bots. Damn it. So they've actually come in and claimed those, but we have actually killed off a few of the others. All right, we're going to have to move out of here. We might as well clear off the rest of the island here. This one here, still the hit points are still pretty good. Let's go back to number 1. Go back to camera. And just go back to R. Yeah, there's a couple there miles away, but our virus bots were destroyed. So that's them there. So we actually can't claim this island until we actually go back and get more. So we need to now send the whole team back. So let's now, oh, there's 2 behind us. All right, let's move this one back. And we'll just go back to camera. So we're just going to move past these guys. Just press R so I can manually control it. Now there's other things way off there which we don't know what they are. They're on another island, I think. That's a different island back there. It's these here. So there's going to be more down this way. They should be coming over. They're not moving. Alright, so we need to take these out. So we're just going to go and just go back again, press escape. And we'll just move this one down a little bit more. Hit points are down to about 50. It's okay. And this one as well. We're nearly dead. Come on, get it before it gets us. Damn it, we lost that one. So we lost that particular seal. I'm just going to move these down. These are now out of ammo. Camera. We're down to. We've still got 100 here. So I'll just press R. Looks like we got it. All right. So now these all now need to go back home again. So let's just go and get them, drag them all out. So we did kill off those other 2, and we just need to get them back to the ship again. So unfortunately, and now we've got another attack coming in behind us. So we need to move away. So we've got something that's there has been a little bit damaged. Our barge is right here now, so we may have enough to take things out. Yes, we're out of ammo. We need to go back, replenish our ammo. We've only got 3 vehicles left now, 3 of these in through this other side. So we need to, we need to now take out the other bits and pieces. We should actually now have with our air, actually I'll just go and do it in here. So if we just go back across, I can put in like a rocket pod. Actually, no, we still don't have any. So the other guys still haven't come in yet. It's moving them in now. It's actually moving fuel in. Oh, we've got rockets on board, I think, with the barge. No, it's all the fuels there. The rockets should be available. In that case, I think. Maybe we didn't pick them up. Let's have a look and see. Cruise missiles, we've still got 10 there. No, we've taken, it looks, I think we've got all the rockets on board. That means we should be able to deck out this guy again. No, yeah, we do have 20. We've got 20 rockets there. Yeah, we do have enough. So it's saying out of stock. So that's the minigun. Out of stock with the rocket pods. It may be a mount that we need. Actually, so rockets are just the ammunition, but we need the actual rocket pod, which means we're going to need to build them here, I'm guessing. No, that's not there either. Not sure where we get the rocket pods from. But, sorry guys, I've actually run out of time today, so I'm going to have to close it up here. I was hoping to take an island so we could then start to sort of build more of the equipment. You can see our ships, our guys are still being targeted. Like if we have a look down in here, they've got units that have come back in to actually target our guys. So they're moving back. So they've got units that have fought back in here again. Now I could take these out with the cruise missile. In fact, probably might be an idea. I can just go back in and do that from in here. Just go and throw the cruise missile back in there again, or the carrier missile. That's not what we need. It's the radar. Viewing scope. So I can actually take, it's more accurate through the other one, but I'll just go and I'll take these out from in here. There's another one actually, which we hadn't seen. Okay, requesting support. There goes the missile. There's 4 of them. It's more than we thought. Only took out 2 of them. It's less accurate this way. Look, we'll shoot another one in. There's still this one here, which is very, very badly damaged. That seems to be the only one left. Our guys are coming back in now. They're a long, long way away. They're not going to be able to hit them. So these would then need to be replenished. We've really only got like one enemy that we have to contend with now, I think. We have a look back in here again. I can only see what we can see, so I'd need to get more aircraft back up to even just circle while we do the mission would be sort of useful. But that's okay. So then now we're moving back into the bottom of the carrier. We've lost one of them, so we was close there. We almost saved it, but not quite. But I do have to get going. It's a great little game though, this one. It's really quite interesting, quite good fun. This one's still firing away. It's miles, like it's a long way away from where we actually are. But you've got the surface traffic, they're sort of coming back on board now. We'll see them start to fill up. There we go. S2 has made it back, S1 has gone. And so S2 we can sort of then go and see that it's out of ammunition. Its health is okay. Its fuel, it'll get refueled up. Fuel is not really a problem with that one. And S3 and S4 will then come back in as well. S4 will grab more virus bots. There it goes. The virus bots should sort of replenish very, very quickly. There's ammunition now going into S2. So it's making its way in. And then S3 should appear there as well. Just getting ready. When's the next Dwarf Fortress stream? It was going to be today, actually, wasn't it? I'll have to make that tomorrow. I'll be over at the Slytherin. I'll be doing a stream over at Slytherin in an hour's time, so I just wanted to have a bit of a breather. Like the game I was going to be playing isn't available yet, so I was going to be playing one of the coming games, which would have been pretty cool. But I don't actually have access to that one, so I'll probably play Distant Worlds, which is fairly cheap at the moment, 65% off, which is very, very good for that game. Actually, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'll play. Could either play that or Gladius, because Gladius is 90% off. So there's a couple of games there that are really, really cheap at the moment. But I think I'll keep on thinking I'll play my Distant Worlds run, playing as the Harkonish. Anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. So thanks for watching. We didn't actually get to claim an island, and we spent most of the time just travelling to the island before we could actually do the actual, the taking of the island itself. But anyway, these guys are now sort of healing up. They're getting their ammunition on board. So all the ammunition that we brought in before is now sort of coming back onto these particular vehicles. They're healing up as well. Anyway, great little game, this one. So hope you enjoyed that one. Sorry we spent so much time just fighting the currents, but we did eventually get to the island. We've basically got it. We just haven't actually done the final claiming of the island itself. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.